Finally, I'd like to make a very short statement about this Newtown Sewer Authority. I'm speaking as a supervisor, and that is all. This is my capacity to speak here as a supervisor elected by the public. It is my feeling as a supervisor that represents the citizens of this township that I favor suspending any plans for a new plant. I have heard you loudly and clearly, we all have. And you're opposed to the project, and we listened to the people of our township, and we heard you say no, that you weren't for it, and so it's my job as a supervisor to back my citizens in what their feelings are, and you've been heard. As I said, we have all heard you. So this is not an official statement. This is just my own statement. But I would expect an official statement soon. But that is something that I can't do. That's all I'd like to say in that regard.
Madam Chair,
yes.
in regards to what you just said, I would suggest maybe polling the board to see how our feelings are, and maybe this message can get back to the sewer authority and take care of that. As you, I am also in disagreement to what is going on with how the sewer authority is handling this situation.
Thank you.
And I would also vote to suspend pursuing this initiative. Thank you. And I certainly can't top Ellen's Go Birds, but I'll try it anyway.
Well, this really comes as a surprise to me. As many people know, I've been attending the Sewer Authority meetings and have suggested ways in which they can improve communications and answering questions from the public. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'd like to say I am absolutely opposed to it, and I don't think it should be suspended. It should be outright canceled.
Anything else to say tonight? You're welcome to come up. Please, Newtown residents first. State your name and address as usual.
Valerie Mahalik from Newtown Walk. First of all, thank you, Chief Hearn, for all that you and your department do. And I would like to echo the words of Supervisor Snyder in recognizing firefighter Michael Bradshaw and firefighter Quentin Jones for their incredibly heroic efforts in going back in to save the woman who went back inside to save her pet. So, and also to the trash haulers who were driving by and went in and helped the one gentleman who was in a chairlift to get down the stairs. So a lot of people answered the call that day, and particularly our two paid firefighters definitely helped them get to the scene quick. We actually drove by the house and it was a miracle that they made it out alive. It's very encouraging to hear that the supervisors are against the sewer treatment plan, and I particularly appreciate Supervisor Davis's thought to cancel the whole project altogether, but it's just an intent. What we would like to hear is bringing the sewer authority back to really start making sure that this whole process stops. I mean, because it is still unknown how the authority even started the project without apparently consulting the township first. Shouldn't they have? It is also curious that the sewer authority did not seek resident input throughout this process prior to pushing the plan, which raises the question, that there is still apparently a problem. Can the Board of Supervisors ask the Sewer Authority what is the plan to fix it? Can the Board of Supervisors ask the Sewer Authority to present to the public other options to address the sewer treatment issues? And lastly, can the Board of Supervisors ask the Sewer Authority for a cost breakdown of rates and what proposed fixes will do to future rates? Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Todd McGonigal from Linden Hill Farms in Newtown. I'm glad to hear that you guys are in opposition currently to the sewer plant going in. But until then, I did want to educate the public as to Newtown's Act 537 and what it means for us here in Newtown. 537 basically is the municipal plan for what can happen and how our wastewater is treated, disposed of, and conveyed out of Newtown. So the sewer plant cannot be built unless the language is amended to include a local plant being built. So until this plan is officially canceled, it can't go through unless these supervisors amend that language and basically approve it. So this did happen back in 2013, I believe, when we had the packed house here and the supervisors did vote unanimously 5-0 to not allow the sewer plant to go through. And at that point, the Township Manager was instructed to write a letter to the Sewer Authority saying, please cease all exploration for this plan. Because in the meantime, ratepayers' money is being spent to explore the options for this. So supervisors, please, let's get this letter written to the Sewer Authority and have them stop exploring this as an option. Let's get it officially canceled. Because ultimately nothing can happen with the sewer plant unless it comes through this room with you supervisors. So again, I'm glad to hear that you guys are looking to cancel it, but until it's canceled, please do your due diligence. Thank you.
Fran Haller, I live in Newtown Grant. Thank you, Kyle, for expressing total cancellation for the sewer treatment plan. And I thank your fellow supervisors for at least saying suspending, but suspending isn't canceling, and we won't be quiet until we hear that it's canceled. My question to you is, when this, if, God willing, this project is dead, can you push for the, well, even before then, why don't you push for Newtown Sewer Authority to sell that property? And then can we reduce our rates by 47%? And if you sell it at a really good profit, maybe we could get a rebate for the 47% that we already spent. My last sewer bill was outrageous because of the 47%. Well, you know all about that. So that's what I'm asking. Can you push them to sell this property and then get rid of that increase? Thank you very much.
I just want to answer that quickly. We are mandated, the sewer authority is mandated to hold on to that property for a certain amount of time. I'm not sure exactly what that is. I think it's 3 to 5 years. I don't know why that's the rule, but that is the rule from what I've heard. Most of the increase is from passed on from Philadelphia to Bucks to us, and that is unfortunately the truth. So you don't have to show me the budget. I know the budget.
I'm not going to show you the budget.
That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Okay, but that 47% increase, go back to the Newtown Sewer Authority at the June 11th meeting. Your fellow board member, Mr. Walker, remarked that an increase of rates was necessary, taking into account the debt service of land acquisition and capital cost of the wastewater treatment plant. And at July 16th meeting, you motioned for the 47% increase. That's what I'm talking about. Yes, maybe Bucks County Sewer Water Authority was doing some increases, but it's admittedly on the June 11th meeting, the sewer authority was saying, we need to raise rates to cover our costs of the land acquisition and the capital cost of the water waste and proposal. So that is tied into this. You know, if they have to hold on to that land for 3 to 5 years, then stop exploring, stop spending on the engineer, stop spending legal fees, because the plant should be canceled. Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, may I just say something and maybe make a suggestion if it is at all possible? Maybe, and I'm just saying maybe, the township could purchase that tract of land and then designate it as open space so nothing could ever be developed on that. And again, that's just a possibility. I just wanted to throw that out, not to get everybody's hopes up too high, but I think if that is possible, we could landlock that piece of property and there will be nothing from the Wawa onto the, I think it's University Drive, so we could keep that property as township property.
We can certainly try.
I just have to say, it's infuriating to Supervisor Snyder, who sits on the Sewer Authority Board, to have been a part of this process and to feign that the board had no knowledge when these decisions and discussions were happening in spring of 2023. Now we have this piece of property that the Sewer Authority bought for $9 million of our money. And now you're going to say that this property is sort of going to be in limbo for 2 to 5 years, and you as a Board of Supervisor sit on the board of the Sewer Authority, and yet throughout this entire process, you never made it a point to bring it to the public's attention that this $9 million sale and the property being condemned was in the process of happening. Shame on you.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you very much. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, the shirt's on, it's just a little cold. Virginia Walsh, I live in Swan Point. I live technically in Middletown, but I run my business, my law firm, out of Newtown on Penn's Trail. One of the things, and it might be more of a suggestion, is starting back from when this all started and the fact that we're all, really upset that we didn't know anything about this. We didn't know about the eminent domain. The rate increases, when I was looking at this and learning more about authorities than I ever thought I would care to learn about them, it seems to me that the Newtown Bucks County Joint Municipal Authority is clearly, obviously, an authority, and it's not subject to the Public Utilities Commission. If it was subject to the Public Utilities Commission, there would be a whole bunch of rules in place and a commissioner that would govern everything that they do. Some of the rules also include notifying all of us when something is about to happen. When they plan something, the process would have looked much different than how it came about here. Even for eminent domain, the Municipal Authorities Act is, from what I understand, what governs the authority for the Newtown Bucks Joint Municipal Authority to run their operations. And one of the only things in there that the public is allowed to do after things have already been done to them by these board members that make these votes is to sue them in Bucks County Court of Common Pleas. And I would say that the way that's written right now and the way that it basically gives the authorities themselves their own power to do whatever they want without proper notification to the public, and then saying, well, the only option you have if you oppose this once you find out about it is to go sue us, is just a complete and total breakdown of communication and waste of money everywhere. Not to mention a waste of time with the courts, the judicial system, all of that. So I don't know, I know the Municipal Authorities Act is something that's done at state legislature level. But is there some way, and maybe the solicitor can answer this, is there something that we can put in place here that would govern the authority of the authority and put some type of ordinance in place that says, if you are going to try to take something by eminent domain, if you are going to raise rates by a certain percentage, if you are going to do any of the things that the Public Utilities Commission would otherwise govern a public utility, you have to put certain things in place in notifications to the public and give the public the ability to speak on it before you move. Is there a way that we could do that at the township level? And maybe that's more of a question. I don't know if that could be answered now, but is it something that we have to go through and get a change in the Municipal Authorities Act, or is it something that we could actually put in place ourselves as a group? Transparency, basically. Okay, and that might be more of a question for the solicitor. I don't know if Mr. Sander has any response.
Maybe Mr. Sander could get that information for us.
That's something we'd have to research.
Okay.
Thank you.
Could I? Could I suggest your research? We can't sell the sewer authority can't sell land time limit. That doesn't make sense to me.
It's the eminent domain code.
So
it provides a time restriction. I don't have it in front of me, but there's a time restriction. Once a public entity acquires property by eminent domain, there's a certain time period that they have to put it to the use for which they condemned it, but a certain time has to pass before they convey the property either back to the original owner or to a third party.
Could you find out?
I can absolutely find out for sure. No question.
Well, if they make the request to sell, if they are in a position to sell, why couldn't they bypass this time period? I think the time period is in conjunction with giving it back to the original person or parties that they bought it from. So this way they do not have to go back to those parties within a 3-year period. But if as an entity, they wanted to sell it hypothetically to the township for market value, why couldn't they do that?
I will check to see whether there is an exception to the rule to allow a transfer to another municipality, which I think is what you're asking.
Correct.
Well,
Yes, I will research that.
I apologize. Also, back to the original seller, right?
Or back to the original seller. I mean, I'll take a look at exactly what the time limitations are and the procedure for once an entity condemns property, when they can convey it either back or to another.
Thank you.
I'd like that too.
Yeah, sure. I'll send it to the whole board.
I believe they would probably like it back, and they would probably like to move ahead with the plans that they had before, as far as building the 245 apartments. That's what I heard.
John Swider, Swan Point, a resident since 1987. And it was good news to hear about the suspension, but it's sort of like semantics. You know, you can suspend it, which means you can bring it back later, or you can cancel, like Kyle said. And I would like to know, can we have a vote on canceling it? And if not tonight, when?
Can I just say, we are not the sewer authority, so they have to come out with a statement, which they will, that sums this all up, but none of us can do that here. We're not part of that. I'm here as a supervisor, and we're all supervisors, so we can't make a statement to, close the whole thing up. They have to do that, and they haven't done that yet, but they will soon, as I understand.
Okay. But eventually it would have to come back to this board, am I right?
No,
For a vote?
no.
No? Not good.
This board's, not this board's project.
Okay.
Sorry. But could you, because according to your solicitor, the sewer authority would have to come in front of this board if it required land development approval, or if it submitted an application to the zoning hearing board. So they would have to, if they wanted to not sell this property and to develop it, maybe not even a sewer treatment plant, but a development, they would still have to probably come before you for land development approval or zoning. And at that time, if it was a sewer treatment plant, you would fully be within your rights to say no. And that's what we would like, that's what we would want, an assurance that our supervisors, if this sewer plant comes before you for any sort of approval, that you will say no. That's what we want.
I think you just heard us all say that, right?
Well, you said suspend it, and
That's
suspend.
because I'm not authorized to use other words. That's my opinion and my wordage. They have to come out with a statement that goes further
They
than
want
that.
to.
But I can't do that.
Well, you could assure us, well, you did. You said that if it comes before you, you guys would say no.
Right.
For any sort of approval.
The-
Thank you.
The last time we had this issue with the sewer plant, we instructed the manager to tell the sewer authority we would like this to not occur. Why don't we do the same thing tonight? Even if it's not a binding law, at least it's establishing our position.
I was gonna ask the solicitor.
Yeah, I'm cautioning the board against taking action that is not on the agenda. You have to make a separate motion to amend the agenda, state the reason why, and then a revised agenda would have to be submitted tomorrow if you take any action that's not on the agenda.
Unless we were to take,
State law.
unless we were to take that action under other business.
I disagree. I don't think you can.
I've seen it done before on boards taking action.
I understand, Bill. My advice is that the board not take action, and if you wish to take action, put it on the agenda for your next meeting.
So, could I make a request right now to get that on the next agenda? Do I need to make a motion, or is that something you just talk about offline? What's your
I think you can ask direct the manager to place it on the next agenda.
Should we make a motion on that?
No, I would not make a motion on that.
I would like that. We get it on the next agenda.
I would concur with that.
I like that.
I concur. I myself tend to understate things, so using the word suspension would, if I said it in stronger terms, be canceled.
I again see nothing wrong with bringing this up at other business because it is other business, and technically anything brought up at other business is not on the agenda. But I do remember in the past that we have directed the manager to send a letter in regards to this board maybe not wanting a project to go through or not wanting it to come to fruition, and we never needed to bring that on the agenda. We just had to direct the manager to send a letter in regards to that. And why can't we do that tonight?
Short of taking a vote, short of making a motion with a second and a vote, if there's a consensus that you want to direct the manager to do that, I'd certainly be supportive.
I would like to direct the manager to do that.
I concur. Third polling. I appreciate it.
Me too.
Sounds like we have a consensus.
just have one comment if I could. It seems to me wanting the money back to 47% is like saying that egg prices will come down after this summer, and I don't think they ever will come down. So I hope what happens out of this, I know Mr. Clabber mentioned this about the township purchasing that land, but what I think is that the taxpayers already paid for that land, and the sewer authority should donate it to the township. I know, for example, that Bucks County, for $1, gave us the land at the Silver Lake Park, isn't that correct? Off the bypass there, where you see the sign for the KVK Tech that makes opioid drugs. That park is our park, donated to us for $1. Maybe the sewer authority can do that with this piece of land, and they don't have to lower the prices.
That's